Welcome back to another video. Today we're on NBA 2K and we're back doing another rebuild. It's been a long time since we did a 2K rebuild, and the off season's basically over. Majority of free agency has completed, and so now we have like the updated rosters. If you look at the free agents, we obviously have some of these remaining free agents left, but for the most part, they don't really matter. Obviously, there's some other guys here that would be nice to add to some teams. But we're going to be rebuilding the Washington Wizards. If we go take a look at our roster, now with Summer League completing, I think they had, a good Summer League for Carlton Carrington or Bub Carrington. However, obviously, a lot of people have talked about Alex Sarr, how he didn't really have the best Summer League. However, I wouldn't put too much stock into Summer League, considering it is literally a few games. Like, we've seen a lot of players have really bad summer leagues to go on to have amazing careers. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it. But overall, I think they're one of the teams I like the best in terms of, their draft and their offseason for the position that they're in right now. Obviously, there's a few other teams that had a better offseason, but like for where the Wizards are at in the rebuild process, I do like their offseason. And now they have a lot of moves that they could make. Kuzma possibly could be on the move now that they have, someone like Alex Sarr who comes into the team. If they want him in the starting lineup right away, the signing of Valanciunas, you might want to move him over to power forward and maybe trade Kuzma because obviously the lineup doesn't make sense. Malcolm Brogdon's definitely a guy I think we would look to trade right away as he is a veteran point guard. I think it would be a lot, it would be a pretty big addition for a lot of other teams looking for someone to add, trying to make a postseason run. And I would love to have Bub Carrington be kind of our starting point guard of this team. Right now, he's only a 72 overall, so, maybe not right now. But I do think in real life, I think he should honestly be higher than a 72 overall. I'm just going off the roster that was created. But, yeah, I think honestly he should be a higher overall. I think Bub Carrington is really, really nice. And I do think there's a good chance that if Malcolm Brogdon isn't on the move, he won't start. But if they do trade Malcolm Brogdon, he will be the starting point guard of this team. And overall, they still have a lot of young players on this team. I really like this roster. Another year of development for Bilal Coulibaly, who's also playing for France in the Olympics. So, I think that's also really good in his development. They got Keyshawn George. I think they had just a really good draft. They have a really nice team, a lot of young players, some veterans on it. And so we're going to be rebuilding this team. Obviously, one video rebuild. I don't know how long it's going to take because it is the Wizards. It could be a long video. If we take a look, I did also, we have, the actual draft for the upcoming year. Cooper Flagg's in the draft, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe. I know a few of these guys. Obviously, I'm not familiar with some of these other guys that once you kind of get down the list. But overall, we basically have it as the start of next year in 2K. But yeah, so I'm going to make some trades, and I'll show you if we do end up making a trade. I am going to be looking to probably trade Kyle Kuzma, Malcolm Brogdon, and I would like to move Alex Sarr over to the power forward position. I would like to start Alex Sarr his rookie year. I want to get some of these young guys some PT, some development. And I think having Kyle Kuzma is definitely going to, it's not going to be the best in terms of development for him. And I think we can get decent value for him in a trade. And, yeah, so we're going to probably try to find a trade for Kyle Kuzma and then maybe Malcolm Brogdon. If not, we're going to sim a little bit. And then probably by the deadline, Malcolm Brogdon, I think for sure by deadline, we are going to trade at least by deadline. But, yeah, so I'm going to go try to look for some trades. And I'll show you all what we cook up. So the first trade we're going to end up making is Kyle Kuzma going to the Cavs for Karis LeVert and a second-round pick. I do think this is a good trade for both teams. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say, but usually how we have these rebuilds is generally realistic unless, after like the first season, 2 seasons, if it's still looking pretty bad, we might get a little unrealistic. But for the first season, I try to keep it pretty realistic. And we're going to try to go and get Karis LeVert in a first round pick that's in 2028 from the Cavs. I think this is not a bad trade for them. I think, adding someone like Kyle Kuzma definitely helps raise this team a little bit. I think they're looking to add a little bit more to this team. They're trying to compete. and they're moving off of Karis LeVert. He's on the last year of his contract, and they're getting an upgrade for a pretty late, or a first round pick that's quite down the road. So that's what we're going to be doing. Kyle Kuzma, he is no longer on our team. And we bring in Karis LeVert, who honestly I don't mind, who's playing here on like kind of basically a prove it, year for him. He's on the last year of his contract playing on a team that's not that good. Maybe he can get some PT from us and then show out. And maybe we trade him by deadline. But I like getting, some of these other veterans that we could then also maybe flip at the deadline. So I don't mind this trade at all. And now, obviously, Bub Carrington's kind of the main guy. Or not Bub Carrington. Malcolm Brogdon's kind of the main guy that we're looking to trade. From here, I do not mind the rest of the roster. I would like to obviously move Alex Sarr over to power forward. He goes down, actually, which I'm kind of surprised. But, yeah, I do want to get him some minutes at power forward. Jonas Valanciunas, I think, for now, I don't mind him at center. If we do move on from him eventually, which we probably will, then maybe move Alex Sarr back to center. But right now, I currently like him at power forward, so we're going to have him at power forward. For the rest of the team so far, it looks like we're probably going to stick with the same, like I said, except Malcolm Brogdon. And then maybe we do clear out maybe a Corey Kispert who hasn't, he's honestly, I think, someone that a lot of playoff teams would not mind to add his shooting ability. And so I think he's someone that's, on the last year of his contract, not that bad of a player to trade, as now it's kind of crowded here at the shooting guard position. And so, maybe we look to trade Corey Kispert, Malcolm Brogdon, and see what we can get. But that's really about all for now, and we might actually just start simming the season if I don't make a trade. But yeah, I want to see what this team could do year one, and see where we kind of start off with this team. We're gonna end up keeping Malcolm Brogdon and the rest of the roster for the start of the season, and no one's really gonna get heavy minutes on this team. As you can look at our kind of rotation, we're running an 11-man rotation. And a lot of these guys that are, some of our younger players, I'm trying to get some minutes. Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington. We don't have, Keyshawn George in the lineup, but yeah, hopefully by trade deadline we start to move away some of these guys so that we can get even more minutes for someone like a Bub Carrington, or Alex Sarr play some more minutes, get Keyshawn George into the lineup. But yeah, so hopefully by the trade deadline we do kind of clear up this team. But right now, we don't even have a guy that's gonna play over 30 minutes on this team. Like Jordan Poole and Jonas Valanciunas are our top minutes on this team. And it's just because I'm trying to spread it out to some of these other guys. I get the veterans; they're supposed to be in some minutes, but I want our younger guys to get some minutes too. So yeah, that's what the lineup we're gonna be running with, and I'm gonna obviously sim till probably about trade deadline, or until something comes up that makes sense to come back for. It is now trade deadline, and we are trying to trade Malcolm Brogdon away, as he's on the last year of his contract, and he's actually having a pretty decent year. So I expect him to have a pretty decent value, and I think the Magic are honestly a team that would really like to add him, especially for this year if they're trying to do good this year. Right now, they have some young guards, and they also have an injury with Jalen Suggs, so I think adding someone like Malcolm Brogdon can really help them. And we get someone like Jet Howard, who is the 11th pick in the draft, literally in 2023, not long ago. So let's see if they do it. They don't want to do it, so I don't know if I like Jet Howard enough to add 2 more picks. I'll add some seconds. If they don't accept it, then we're not going to do much more, okay? 3 seconds is the most you're going to get. They don't want to do that, so it looks like we're not going to get Jet Howard. We're going to have to find something else to do with Malcolm Brogdon, whether it's going over to the Magic still, or if we send him over to a different team. But, yeah, I think that's way too much for Jet Howard, so, yeah, we're going to have to go out and try to find something else. We're going to end up sending Malcolm Brogdon over to the Miami Heat for Duncan Robinson and a first-round pick. Duncan Robinson also on the last year of his deal for how much he's being paid. Obviously, he's getting paid a lot, but he is on the last year of his contract, so it doesn't really matter. And we're getting a first-round pick, so we're going to be loading up on picks. As you can see, we have a lot of picks in the upcoming years now. We have a lot of seconds that we could maybe flip for some firsts, which I think I might do also at this deadline. But, yeah, Malcolm Brogdon going over to the Heat, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to add some more depth at the guard position. And for us, I think it also makes a lot of sense to get someone like, on the last year of a contract, someone that many other teams would not really want to go get, someone like a Duncan Robinson, just because of his contract. But he is on the last year, like I said. So it doesn't really matter to me. So Jordan Poole moving over to point guard. I think this helps the rotation a little bit. But we still have some more moves that we might want to make at the deadline. I would like to get some more first-round picks because, as you can kind of see this year, let's take a look. Oh my God, trade finder. As you can kind of take a look, we look at our picks. We don't have a first-round pick this year. Technically, I'm pretty sure we do, but it's like got some type of protection with another team. So we technically do, I'm pretty sure, but I would like to get another first-round pick this year, just because we're not that good, right? And it's 2K. Our second-round picks in 2K don't mean as much as in real life, right? I know I said be realistic, and I still am, right? And part of that is sending out a whole bunch of seconds for a first-round pick and seeing if we can get one. See if that works. That does. I think that is a next year's pick, but I think sending out all those for a first is something I don't mind doing. And then if we like someone in this draft, we can trade for them. But I just want to stack up on draft capital, especially first-round picks, as obviously with how this team looks, we're probably going to have to make a big trade if we want to have this kind of turnaround anytime soon. So, we also will likely have a lot of money in free agency to spend, with a lot of our guys being on expiring deals. So, hopefully in the offseason we can get some guys. We probably aren't going to make any other trades with this team. I do not mind running it with this kind of squad right now. And then in the offseason, maybe, Jonas goes, trade him to a contender or something, or just some of these other guys. I don't know. But I don't mind where we're at right now. We're 23-29 at the deadline, so honestly, we're still not good, but it's not the worst, right? We could have a lot worse of a record. So yeah, that's really how it looks right now. I'm going to finish up the rest of the season and head over to the off season. The season is now over, and we finished with a record of 31-51, so obviously not that good. And as you can see, they have most valuable player as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Chet they have as rookie of the year, which we're going to give to probably Rob Dillingham, okay? Actually, maybe we don't, okay? Who deserves it? Because that's not really who it is, okay? Let's be real honest. We're going to give it to Rashard, okay? We're giving it to Rashard, okay? I don't know who actually was the best out of the real rookies, but Chet, somehow they still had his rookie. So he got rookie of the year. Anyways, sixth man of the year, Russell Westbrook. Defensive player of the year, Wet Bananas, Wembanyama. Most improved player, Amen Thompson. Anthony Edwards, clutch player of the year. Oh my, this is an insane season. 36 points per game. And then coach of the year, Tom Thibodeau. Executive of the year for the Pistons. And then I'm assuming we have obviously nothing. Maybe an all-rookie team player, Alex Sarr. We did have on the first team, and then on the second team we had Bub Carrington. And I hope Bub Carrington takes a jump because he was my favorite guy in the draft this year. And yeah, I do really think he will be really good in the league. Obviously, we don't care about the playoffs. I do want to take a look at our own team, though, how we played. As, obviously not the best season, but, it's okay. We're going to get better. In terms of points per game, Jordan Poole averaged 18, so not that bad considering he played, honestly, less minutes than he did last year and averaged more points. So really good year out of Jordan Poole. Maybe he'll get some more minutes next year. He was our highest points per game in terms of rebounds per game. Valanciunas was our highest, and in assists was Karis LeVert. Which honestly, Karis LeVert, there's a pretty good amount of time last year he was playing for Cleveland, where they didn't have Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell, and he was averaging like 9 assists. But anyways, yeah. For our rookies though, is in some of our second year guys, Bilal Coulibaly didn't really take a jump. You do like to see him shooting better from the free throw line and from the three-point percentage, or for three-point. But yeah, he didn't really take a jump, which is kind of tough to see. Alex Sarr, I think this is not bad of a rookie year. Honestly, 10-7 right now is, not that bad. The three-point percentage could be a little bit better, but 51% from the field, 87% from the free throw line is not bad at all. Bub Carrington, 6 points per game. Basically 2 rebounds, 2 assists a game. on a pretty low amount of minutes. So next year I expect to give him a lot more of the minutes at point guard, and I hope he does play even better. And then our last rookie, Keyshawn George, he didn't play a game. So, it sucks, man. But you know what? Next year the team could look a little bit different. But yeah, let's get to the offseason because, we're pretty bad still. Just if you cared, the winner of the championship somehow was the Pistons, okay? Somehow the Pistons did win the championship. As you can see here, the draft lottery happening. The Rockets, who get number 3, if you look, it says via Washington. So apparently there was no protections on it, which I thought there was, honestly. But we don't have our pick this year, so it looks even worse. And if this isn't the case also in real life, it also looks pretty bad for them and really good for the Rockets. The Rockets have a 3rd and the 5th pick, both from other teams. But yeah, so if we want someone in this draft, we're going to have to trade for a pick as we don't have a pick. But yeah, I was just letting y'all know that that's what happened in the lottery. We do not have a first-round pick, and if we want someone, like I said, we're going to have to go out and get someone. Staff signing, right now, I don't care about our coach. To be real honest, I don't really care, okay? This is 2K. If this was real life, maybe we think about it, but in 2K, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? We're just trying to fill our staff. We don't really care about who these guys are. They basically are the same thing as long as they got good ratings. So if you take a look here, I didn't, start recording because I didn't think this was happening. Like, I didn't think I actually was going to get it to go through. But we traded Sadiq Bey, Jordan Poole, and a whole bunch of second-round picks. And we got the 4th pick in the draft from the Los Angeles Lakers. I thought if there was a team that we would trade with for a pick in this draft, it made the most sense with the Lakers. Obviously, they're a team looking to contend now. They probably don't care as much for a young guy. So, yeah, we have the 4th pick in this draft. Can we find a way to get Cooper Flagg to fall to us? I don't know. But if he does, that would be insane. If not, we could definitely still get a lot of guys here are still really nice. So let's head to the draft. And we got 1 pick, and it's the 4th pick in the draft. Okay, we're gonna see what we can do with it. Number 1 is Cooper Flagg. So Cooper Flagg is a Bull. Me liking the Bulls, I ain't gonna lie, that I do not mind that pick at all. Second pick, Nolan Traore. France has been having a lot of guys up and coming. I mean, every year it feels like now they have some people in the draft. But it looks like we're gonna get Ace Bailey. Which I actually don't mind considering we just traded, the one and only Jordan Poole. So shooting guard is obviously a position of need now for us, obviously. And I don't mind it at all. He's a 79 overall at the draft. He is the 2nd highest overall in the draft. So now I do not mind that. He's already the same overall as Jordan Poole, and he has a way higher ceiling. And he's also 6'9" at shooting guard. But yeah, so Ace Bailey is on the team. And now we have a young roster, a really, really young team. Hopefully in free agency we can maybe add some people around them because, I wouldn't mind adding some of these guys around them. In terms of player options, I think honestly Johnny Davis, I'm not giving him one. He has just not worked out at all. And we're just gonna let him walk. Basically all these guys except Koulibaly, we're letting him walk. Okay. But now let's check out free agency qualifying offers. Let's take a look at free agency. As there's a lot of names here, so we're gonna take a look at who should go after, and then I will kind of come back and show you who we're gonna go after in free agency because we should have a lot of money to spend. After free agency, we do end up making a few actual additions to the team. We bring in D'Angelo Russell and TJ McConnell at point guard. Kind of what I was going with here is just, D'Angelo Russell, I think, for right now, could be our starting point guard while Bub Carrington continues to develop. And then maybe, another guy kind of like Malcolm Brogdon, who we can maybe flip at the deadline. Maybe we keep him if we're further along in the progress of, our team, and we want to keep him because we want to contend. And then TJ McConnell, I thought, was just a good kind of, depth addition, veteran point guard that, he has a lot of that grit in him. So, you like additions like that. We also kept Duncan Robinson back. We brought him back on a minimum contract. So I'm not mad at keeping him, but he is on a minimum now. So it makes a lot more sense for the team. We have TJ Warren we brought in, another veteran. We brought in Peyton Watson, who I do really like the addition of, as he is a young power forward that maybe he takes a starting job over Marvin Bagley, and then I moved Alex Sarr back to center, and that's how it's kind of looking right now. So after player progression, our highest overall is now Bilal Coulibaly, as you can see. How it kind of went for a lot of these guys. Bub Carrington did go up quite a bit. A lot of our vets did go down. But I don't mind our team at all heading into next season, as we're going to, skip past the G League because we do not care about that, okay? We do not care about the G League. But I do like our team for next season, and I think that we could definitely be better than we were last year. If we take a look now, like I said, at the team, it's overall, I think, just a better team. I think we have a little bit better of a team, a little bit more progress. Obviously, we're still probably not going to be good. Hopefully, Ace Bailey does look really, really good as... Is that a glitch? Wait. Does anyone else see his contract? Ace Bailey, 2 years, $132 million. Am I the only one seeing that? Yeah, it says he's getting paid $64 and $68 million. Not too sure how that happened. So, yeah, that's definitely something that makes a lot of sense why we also didn't have much money in free agency. But, yeah, so that's how the team kind of looks. I'll have to figure out what that is and maybe if we could fix that. But, yeah, so I'm going to make our rotations and then obviously come back and show you what our rotation looks like for season number 2. All right, so for season number 2, this is the rotation we're going with to start the season. Obviously, it could change as the season goes on. But we have D'Lo, Ace Bailey, Bilal Coulibaly, Peyton Watson, and Alex Sarr in the starting lineup. So we're pivoting to a pretty young lineup. Our only really, veteran is D'Angelo Russell here in the starting lineup. We're giving them a lot more minutes than we did last season, so we kind of are starting to figure out the rotation. And then off the bench, we got Jonas, Marcus Bagley, Bub Carrington, Corey Kisper, and T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren very likely could lose a lot of his minutes to Keyshawn George, which I do not mind doing later on in the season. And then Bub Carrington, I would like to increase his minutes slowly as the season goes along. But that's what we're kind of starting off the season with. I want to see, obviously, how it's going to go, and then maybe we make a move, maybe try to get some star power on this team. And then, yeah, I also want to take a look at the draft. There's a guy named Timmy Barkley who's apparently nice, and Felix De La Rosa, who are both, B minuses. So maybe we'll check them out a little bit more. This guy's 6'9" at shooting guard. I mean, we just got a shooting guard, but hey, looks like you play everywhere. But yeah, we'll start some of the season, see how it goes, and see if we want to make any type of moves with this team. So it is trade deadline, and we have some interesting decisions to make. Because if you look at our record, we are 33-17, which puts us as the number 2 seed behind the Pistons. Now, it's kind of interesting what we do here because we have a really young team, and a lot of our positions we technically kind of have almost like figured out, I guess you could say, because we have, a young player in that position for years to come. But I do actually not mind looking to maybe get a star player. With all these young players we do have, obviously everyone's not going to pan out. And that being said, I would not mind possibly moving on from a few of them to acquire a star with some picks. Especially right now, since we are 33-17, I think adding a star, even if we don't win this year, make the playoffs next year with another year of development to a lot of our young players. Maybe next year is the year. So I'm going to go out and maybe look for some trades for some star players that, maybe they want out the situation that they're in and we can bring them onto this team. First trade that we're going to try out and try to see if we can get is Lauri Markkanen. In real life, he's one of the top guys that's really like in trade talks in real life. And I think it makes a lot of sense for us too, as if you look at our positions in terms of potential, power forward is probably our worst position. Alex Sarr, he should obviously, be the starter for the years to come. Bilal Coulibaly, I do really like at small forward. We have Ace Bailey at shooting guard, and then we have Bub Carrington and D'Lo at point guard. And then at power forward, I like Peyton Watson as maybe like a backup on a championship contender. But we don't really have like a guy that really solidifies that it's gonna work. So yeah, I would like to go out and possibly get some of these other guys, as it is a little bit harder because if you look at the team, they have a lot of guys that you're not gonna really be able to get. I don't know really what happened with the contracts in the game from last year's rookie class, but if you look, this guy was picked 25th and he's getting paid $19 million. So I don't know really what happened with that, but their team is really, really young. Maybe someone like a Jordan Clarkson we could add in. So it doesn't look like that's going to work. It doesn't make sense in that situation. So we're just going to add some first-round picks. I do like our team next year, so I don't mind our first-round pick being gone. We trade a Heat first-round pick, and we get Lauri Markkanen. So that should help us a lot in terms of competing right now. And now we definitely can move on from someone like a Marvin Bagley. Maybe go get a backup center. Or just add a lot of depth to this team because we did lose quite a few players, obviously, from that trade. But that is the first trade we are going to make at this deadline. Make a big acquisition in Lauri Markkanen. So we're not going to end up making any trades. I do honestly really like how we have played the beginning of the season, so I don't want to make any moves. And yeah, I think, we just move Marvin Bagley over to center. He can play backup center. And I think we just test out how the team is this year. Next year, if anything, we can make some changes to the team and all that. But I do like our team right now, how it looks. And we're just going to finish up the rest of the season with just the Lauri Markkanen trade. So the season is now over, and we had over 50 wins. I don't know what seed we were, but we had a way better season than I expected. Luka won MVP. Rookie of the Year was our rookie Ace Bailey. So Ace Bailey was a big, big reason why we were really good. Honestly, really interesting. 21 points per game, 7 rebounds, and he barely would get any assists. He did not pass that rock. I ain't going to lie. As a shooting guard. But, yeah, really good year out of him, and looks like, honestly, might be the biggest reason why we are as good as we are. Sixth Man of the Year, Jarris Walker. Again, Wemby returns as DPOY. He does it every year. Most improved, Jarris Walker. Clutch Player of the Year, Ja Morant. And then Coach of the Year, it goes to the Pistons. Executive goes to the Thunder. Do we have any All-NBA players? We do not. All defensive players, we do. Ace Bailey was a all-defensive second-team player already. So Ace Bailey so far has been, honestly, looked like the biggest difference in why our team is so good. And that leaves us as the second seed in the playoffs. So let's see if we could actually find a way to win in the playoffs. I don't expect us to go and win it all this year. It would be kind of insane. So yeah, we're gonna sim our games. Obviously maybe not all simcast, but so we're blowing them out. Okay, so we're blowing them out completely. Absolutely killed them. And Ace Bailey was our top scorer. But if you look at our team, a lot of people are scoring the ball a lot. They're doing their thing. A lot of players on our team is doing their thing. So we win game 2. They win game 3. They win game 4. So hopefully we don't choke. We win game 5. Then we win game 6. So took it in 6 against the Knicks. I didn't even look at the roster honestly. But now let's look at the Pacers since it's looking a little bit more different than usual. Their team looks like Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam. James Wiseman is the starter over Miles Turner. That's a little interesting. But yeah, they basically have their team that they have in real life. So can we beat the current Pacers? Let's see. We win game 1. We win game 2. They win game 3. They win game 4. They win game 5. We win game 6. Let's simcast game 7. Game 7, let's see what happens. Right now, they have the lead. It is a relatively close game. Oh, we take the lead. We take the lead. We end up winning. I'm not going to lie. If we win this year, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on in the sim. But the Pistons won it last year. Their team this year is apparently also amazing again. And we're the second seed. So all the teams in real life that are really bad, if you look, are now all the really good teams. And we're only a year in the future. I mean, Portland's good. Houston's good. I ain't going to act like Houston's that bad. I can understand Houston. But the rest of these I did not expect. Let's see how we do against the Pistons. They win game 1. We win game 2. They win game 3. We win game 4. They win game 5. We win game 6. So we're going to go on simcast. Let's see what happens. As we have a lead. We have a lead. They take back the lead. And, we take back the lead. And I think we won. We did. We won. So we are in the NBA Finals in year 2 with this Wizards team. Ace Bailey must. Oh, he's not doing that again in the playoffs. D'Lo is doing about what he had in the regular season. Who's stepping up for? So playoff Laurie Markkinen. I wasn't too familiar with your game. He's cooking. Alex Sarr is doing way better. Corey Kispert's doing his thing. Our team's playing basically the same, except the fact that we have Laurie Markkinen, who's he's just hooping. So yeah. This is definitely not what I expected to see in year one after in the finals. And they have Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, DeAndre Ayton, Anthony Simons, Denny Avdia, Rui Hachimura, Donovan Clingan, Jabari Walker, Nolan Traore, I think is how you would pronounce it. Anyways, basically the same team. They have a few additions, but basically their regular team in real life. We win game 1. They win game 2. We win game 3. They win game 4. We win game 5. And we win game 6. D'Angelo Russell was the finals MVP, averaging 16 and 8. I'll tell you what. I did not expect this rebuild to end this quick. I thought it was going to take a lot more. Apparently, this team was good enough to win it, for some reason. If we did continue to play, I think we still would have a really good team. Ace Bailey is definitely someone I think the more, obviously, farther we get into it, he would have really insane progression. Bilal Coulibaly would progress even more. Alex Sarr, Bud Carrington, we still didn't really have a true chance at him as a starter yet on this team. But overall, I mean, somehow our team was that good. We had a crazy jump from year 1 to year 2. So yeah, apparently that's gonna do it. For you, actual Wizards fans, do I expect this for you? No, but I do think you guys have a bright future ahead. You have a lot of young talent that you guys have drafted, stuff like that, and hopefully you guys can draft someone next year. I know you guys don't really have your pick, I don't think, but yeah, so that's really it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.